We got a good one today, fellas. You know it's a serious video when I break out the red light. You see the red light in the background. The other day, as I was just getting ready to go to bed, about 7 o'clock, I was getting ready to put my head on my little pillow, and what do you know? Earl from the open mat, Mr. Earl Smith himself, drops what I call the Ether by Nas equivalent of the wrestling media world. And if you don't get that reference, it's a diss track, okay? You have Back to Back by Drake, you have Ether by Nas, and you have A Failure in Leadership and 4 other takeaways from the Rumble on the Rooftop by Earl Smith. Now, before we get into the article, the diss article, whatever you want to say, critical article, opinion piece, we're going to talk about what it's actually about. So this past Sunday in Chicago, Illinois, June 28th, Fight.tv put together this wrestling event called Rumble on the Rooftop. Rumble on the Rooftop was affiliated with Beat the Streets, I believe. The money from the event was going to go to the athletes along with the Beat the Streets organization in Chicago. It was a pay-per-view model, so it was $19.99. You get the whole event. There was senior-level athletes. There was youth-level athletes, all coming together to give us wrestling after this long drought, this long corona drought. Now, leading up to this event, the social media world, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the forums, everybody was talking. They were giving their predictions. They were giving their opinions. They were excited about it. We were all excited to see wrestling. But there was one particular news media outlet that all we heard was crickets. And who was that? None other than Flow Wrestling. And that's where this article comes to play. Now, I don't want to snake the article. I'm going to link the article down below in the description. That way, if you guys want to check out the full article, I highly recommend it. There's lots of good points. There's lots of good details that I'm just going to kind of leave out. I want you guys to go read that first. But the main point that the main theme that he kind of goes after here is the whole thing where everybody wants to talk about, you know, growing the sport of wrestling. Back in 2000, whatever, when they were going to get rid of Olympic wrestling, it kind of gave everybody this kick in the butt. Like, the IOC was kind of telling us, like, hey, we're losing you, you know? And so we kind of said, okay, well, how do we revamp things? We changed some rules. We kind of took like a deep dive into the sport of wrestling. What should we do to change and make ourselves better and kind of adapt to the new era? And so that's where everybody started talking about, you know, growing wrestling. We got to grow the sport. We got to grow the sport. And I'm obviously a big proponent of that. I think that's got to be priority number one in today's, you know, fast-paced world. And so when it comes to the sport of wrestling, I believe that we should all kind of do our part helping each other out, right? You know, you got the big guys, you got the little guys, you got the people in the middle. Now, here at StaleMates, I like to believe that we are the little guys because at this point, I think we've only got like 130 YouTube subscribers. Hopefully, after this video, we'll have 131. But for now, 130. Now you've got the people like Flow Wrestling who have 182.5 thousand Twitter followers, 78.9 thousand YouTube subscribers, 472,000 Instagram followers. And do you know how much of that platform that they use to promote Fight.tv's Rumble on the Rooftop? Outside of a couple tweets from their personalities, and I mean just a couple, zero posts. If you go to their Twitter account from the day of Rumble on the Rooftop, Sunday, June 28th, they tweet out a June transfer portal recap. They tweet out an Underhook series tutorial. They talk about people who had unbelievable freshman NCAA seasons. And I will give them a little bit of credit because they did retweet David Taylor mocking Patrick Downey's endurance, or should I say lack thereof endurance. Now, Christian Piles, the content director of Flow Sports, did put out a tweet referencing Patrick Lugo's Sorensen Strong singlet with a fire emoji. And then when I went to go make this video, I go to check out at Wrestling Nomad, and I found out I have been blocked. I like you, Nomad. It's the other guys I got a problem with, okay? Unblock me. Actually, don't unblock me. Here at StaleMates, we got burner accounts. You don't think that I've already seen your stuff? You don't think that I've already seen your other tweets? You don't think I have access to your Twitter account? You blocked our main page, but we still got all these other Twitter accounts we got access to. You going to go find those? You going to go block all of those? Unblock me, Nomad. Anyways, let's get away from the block party. Back to the article. Now, in the article, again, I don't want to give out all the good points of this thing, but one big point that I wanted to bring up, I actually brought this up with the interview with Pat Mineo a few days ago or a couple weeks ago or last week, where I talk about, imagine if, ESPN is the worldwide leader in sports, right? Imagine if they took the time out of the day to crap on freelancers like my boy Pat. Now, in this article, he makes a similar point where he says, if Fox has an NFL game at the halftime show when they show all the highlights, they're still going to show highlights from games that are broadcasted on CBS and other networks. Now, it's not always that way. He also makes the point in the article where he says, when it comes to big events, right? The NCAA tournament, that's on ESPN. Flow's going to cover that, which they kind of have to, right? They kind of have to. Now, I know I make a lot of videos about Flow Wrestling. I know I like to stir the pot a little bit, but it comes from an honest place, okay? I'm a longtime Flow listener. I've got a Ben Askren t-shirt. I used to tweet at Christian Piles. I used to tweet probably at Nomad. Unblock me. I like Sion. Shout out to the Iowa State Cyclones. Come on, man. And I generally do think that Flow Wrestling is the number one. They have the biggest platform. They have good quality content most of the time. But when events like this happen, where we haven't had wrestling in over 100 days, and the revenue from the event is going to charity, we have every single right to come after you when you don't cover it. And honestly, you should feel honored that people are getting upset that you're not covering it. Nobody gives a crap if StaleMates doesn't cover something because we don't have the platform. You have the platform. And so now there's a line drawn here. Does Flow Wrestling care about wrestling? Or does Flow Wrestling care about Flow Wrestling? And when they refuse to cover other events that aren't just hosted on Flow, it kind of just tells us that they only care about Flow Wrestling. Now, regardless, Willie Saylor, a.k.a. at Matt Scout Willie, ended up reporting that the event ended up selling 4,500 pay-per-view buys. Excellent event. But you got to wonder, could it have been more if they had more promotion behind it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. And now I'm recording this Tuesday late night. It's about 9:30 Central Standard Time. And so maybe they've came out and cleaned it up a little bit. Maybe they put out stuff since. I haven't seen it. I've done a little bit of homework. Maybe Nomad has. I haven't seen it because I'm freaking blocked now. Regardless, I hope my point got across. I feel honored that I've been blocked. You should feel honored that people are upset, that people want you to cover a certain event and you didn't cover it. You're going like this, okay? You're walking like this. You see the little guy and you step right over him onto where you're going. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on social media. I'm done ranting. Peace.